And it's working.
Yes.
Got it. Perfect. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, I'm happy to join.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. So everyone, today we've got a special guest, Claire. We met a couple of weeks back. She's also a startup founder, and we realized that we do have something in common when it comes to um, the importance of personal development and spirituality. And I thought it's going to be amazing if Claire can join us and tell us about her journey. So, welcome.
Thank you.
Would you mind telling us a bit more about yourself and
Yeah.
your journey?
Yeah, for sure. So hi everyone. I'm Claire. I'm originally from France. I grew up in Versailles, which is well known for its palace. So yeah, I grew up there. I did the business school, then I went to work in data for a long time, and I am now building my startup. It's been, I think, 1 year that I'm fully going the entrepreneurship journey, and I was in San Francisco a few months ago to build this startup now between like France and San Francisco. And I think I also am deeply interested on all this self discovery topic. I think it's been maybe 5 years that I really started going into it, and it was, I mean, before the live, I actually thought about all this, and I realized it was kind of like step by step, and I didn't really realize I was going to into this journey. But now, when I look back, I feel like I'm just very deep into it. So that's I think a really interesting journey to go in.
I cannot agree more. And as a fellow entrepreneur traveler, like, how do you compare those two journeys? Because I have the feeling they intertwine, but
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, I think when I look back, the step that I took on my self discovery journey were always linked to harsh moments in some way. And I think entrepreneurship really pushes you into frequent harsh moments. Um, and also, I think when you're an entrepreneur, like you're left with this blank canvas of you can do anything, you can go to any path. So you need to be really strong on how to do your choices, and that can only come from like knowing who you are and what you want. Meanwhile, like when you are in a job, like there's just so many, not so many paths you can go to. So it's more like you don't have to ask yourself so many questions when you're in an employee job.
it's this magical concept of agency. It's entrepreneurship is a high agency endeavor, and I
Hmm.
feel like the more we know ourselves, the more agency we show to the world. And as you've highlighted, in the corporate world, very often we are being guided. Of course, there's a level of
Hmm.
agency, but there is also this element of it's easier to go with the flow in that
Hmm.
environment.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and you can't really do that in entrepreneurship, or you just like go, you know, yeah, you would think.
Would you say that um, you've always had this vibe of entrepreneurship and like this high agency, or was it something that was
Hmm.
awakened in you?
Yeah, I think I always had this, but I think entrepreneurship has many different dimensions that I didn't have from the start. I think the thing that I always had was wanted to build some things from scratch, and also to be doing things on my own, like not to rely on anyone to do things. Like when I was young, I liked to like cake, do cakes on my own, and like ask need for nobody, just like take the recipe and do everything on my own and try it until and fail until I can actually do the recipe. And same like when I was in high school, I like built the student board for my high school. So like I always like to do projects, start projects, but like when I finished my studies, I felt like I was not experienced enough to start a startup. So that's why I waited maybe like 7 years of working in the like corporate world before actually launching a startup.
And how's this journey's been so far? Almost like, what did you learn about yourself for this journey?
Yeah, I think you learn what is really important for you, like what really makes you excited about being an entrepreneur. And also you kind of learn your limit as well. I think for me, the first year was really getting the balance between what I want and what I can do.
Mm,
Because I think at first I wanted all at first, like I wanted to build a project that was with purpose, that will be very big, that will do a lot of money, where I could work with the people I like. And that was just a lot of things to want while I was like just nobody in the entrepreneurship world. And I think after a year, like, I mean, the first year I explored a lot of topics, a lot of projects, a lot of association, and nothing was never working because there was always a missing element. And so after a year, I did some coaching where I like just like narrowed down what was really important to me, and I realized like the team side was more important to me. Also, like learning how to like start a business. So maybe more focusing on what I can do and how I can build a strong business from there, rather than like maybe changing the word from the start. Like first I want to like build something, and then from that later on I will change the word somehow.
there's beauty. Sorry, I feel you, and I feel you, and I feel you. It's like
Yeah.
there's this. They're saying that in order to be a startup founder, you need to have a particular level of being delusional. But then you need it at the very beginning, and then there's this moment when you need to
Mm.
control your delusion.
Yeah.
um, because yeah, at the end of the day, is
Mm.
this daily grind and just showing up when nothing seems to be working.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I feel like it's also a lot about knowing what and when to let go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. I think what I learned is that the box cannot always, I mean, there's always going to be boxes that are not ticked.
Yeah,
And it's going to be true at the beginning of the journey and throughout all the journey. So I think what I learned during entrepreneurship is like living with discomfort and like enjoying the process, because I think when I was working, I was always reaching for the next goal, like the next promotion, the next move
yeah.
in my career. But I think entrepreneurship is like a very long run task and very tiring. So like if you don't learn to like the process, it's just
Yeah.
going to be too hard.
I remember myself just a couple of years back. I was like, I was applying this mindset of goal setting to
Mm.
startup journey, and exactly as you're saying, it's just never gonna work
Yeah.
because there's always gonna be something,
Mm.
and it's really about. It's a cliche, but it's really about learning how to enjoy the journey.
Mm. Yeah, I think it's still good to give yourself some goals, but you should not. I mean, I think when you set yourself some goals, they are in the back of your mind, which is good,
Yeah.
but you should not just look at them every day. Sometimes I feel like I have them in the back of my mind, and then when I do checkpoints like every 3 months, I kind of realize actually I went close to these objectives,
Yeah.
but I was not like eyes on it all the time. Otherwise, I would have felt like I would never reach them.
You're touching something which is very important, goal settings.
Hmm.
And I believe that it applies to everyone, like entrepreneurs for sure, but actually everyone can benefit from that. I think it was Elon Musk who said that we overestimate what we can do during a day, but we underestimate what we can do during 12 months.
Hmm.
And I believe it gives you direction in
Mhm.
life. Like, where do you want to go next? Like, how do you want to steer the ship of your life? And
Mhm.
was it something that came to you naturally, or you learn how to do it, or someone coached you
Mhm.
about it?
Yeah, so I think it didn't come naturally. So for me, the first step into like development, self-development, and setting yourself objectives was the first time I wanted to change job. Like I had been in consulting. So when you're in consulting, you still have all your doors very open. And then when you leave it, you need to actually ask yourself where you want to choose to go and like which doors you're closing.
Yeah.
And I actually randomly found a book, which is a French one, which is called like Activate Your Own Talent.
Uh-huh.
And they had this exercise of like setting yourself yearly objectives. So I started doing that. And what's interesting is that they create some domains of your life, which are like your family and friends, your career, your money, your like hobbies as well. You know, like so there are several domains, and you just like set yourself some objective for the year and also like some long term vision. And I started like doing that maybe 5 years ago, and every year like I keep doing this. And yeah, I kind of realized it actually forced me to build some retro planning of how to reach these objectives. And eventually, like I reached a lot of them, you know.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Congratulations. Uh, so, uh, the topic which is kind of intertwined with all of that is authenticity.
Mhm,
And as it's the authentic hour, um,
mhm,
how do you define authenticity?
mhm. Yeah, I think for me, authenticity starts with knowing who you are and what you want. Um, and then when you are there, it's really easy to be yourself. I mean, it's not really easy, but like it's I would say 80% of the work. And then you need to actually make sure that you know, like you show up as you are and you don't like change who you are to please others. But I think for me, like the biggest journey was really knowing who I was. Because sometimes, I mean, I really learned to ask myself the question of like, what do I want? If like I don't think about what is everything else, everyone else expects, like, what do I want? And that's a hard question to ask yourself when you're not used to it.
And how did you? No, how did you learn to ask this question?
Um, I think I first realized that it was a bad thing for me to not be authentic. Like the the whole mechanism that I was doing all the time was like pleasing others and then growing some frustration,
Hmm.
and then like others will not understand why I was frustrated because like they had done nothing. They just like didn't see I was not agreeing with them. So like I realized it put me in some bad situations for me and for everyone else. So that's why I sort of like I started recognizing the patterns of like maybe I didn't ask myself first what I wanted before saying to others what I wanted. So now I try to like really introspect myself when I see this kind of pattern like starting again.
It's like building this space that you don't jump
Yeah.
into the answer or action or whatever, but you're able to check with yourself first.
Hmm.
And
Yeah, I think it's this kind of pause moments where you need to like think within yourself.
and how is it for you? Because I know that some people just feel it in their body. Some people have this like knowing in their head, but
Hmm.
it's not like I know because I read it. I just deeply have
Hmm.
this feeling of knowing. So do you have a
Hmm.
particular way of recognizing it that
Hmm.
I'm going in the right direction?
Um, yeah, I mean, I think I don't know if it's like the body or like knowing, but I know where I are when I am in like discomfort, when I am like not I think I know when I am confused, I would say.
Mhm.
And I think when somebody asks me something and I'm not really 100% sure about the question, I mean the answer, it means that I haven't figured out like what exactly do I want myself. And sometimes like you just know you're not sure what you want, and but you don't know what you want. So like sometimes I really do exercises of like taking a paper and a pen and being like,
Mhm.
okay, this is how I feel. Like for example, like I don't know, I'm not happy with this situation, and then I think like why, how do I feel? Like I think I've developed some frameworks to like understand a bit how I feel and what do I think.
I mean, is would you like to tell us more about this framework? Because it sounds really
Hmm.
interesting.
Yeah, so I think just a simple one is really like asking a lot of whys to how you're feeling. So like your first feeling like I feel frustrated because of this, why, and then you answer, and then why is that, and then you answer and you deep dive. Um, and then sometimes like when I need to assess some decision where I'm not sure like alternative A or B, like I have this framework which is like called Bono hats. Maybe you know about this. And it's like you need to take several hats on the
Okay.
same question. The one being like, okay, what are the facts? Then second would be like, if you are optimistic about the situation, what will you think? Then if you are pessimistic, what actually do you think as a pessimistic person?
Okay.
Then like if you're a very like creative person, what kind of solution can you come up with on this? And then just like mediating all of this to say like, okay, if we find a middle ground, what actually is the best solution for you? So I think it helps to like go in the extreme of like what makes you very um, positive about this situation, what makes you scared about this situation, what you do to go around the situation. Like um, I think it helps to like take a lot of different point of views to explore what you're actually feeling.
I think that's kind of a way to approach it because there are two scenarios. I know what I want, which is perfect. But then there's a scenario of I actually know what I don't want,
Mm,
which is actually also a good question to ask ourselves.
hmm
Because if we don't know what we want, like at least I know what I don't want. And it
hmm
sounds like the exercise with the hats can really help
Yeah,
to assess it. It's really
yeah,
cool.
yeah, exactly.
Really cool. I'm definitely gonna borrow it.
Good.
Um, Authenticity and entrepreneurial journey.
Yeah, I think that's a tough one. I think that's something I haven't gone to the end of it because, like, when you're an entrepreneur, you are kind of a product yourself. Like, you need to sell yourself to clients, investors. So, like, and especially as a first time founder, it's hard to just think like you're just going to be yourself and that people are just going to buy you like you are. So, you need to find a mix between, okay, what skills are you missing and do you want to acquire, and what projection you do on other people that you think are things you need to be and that are not yourself. And I think that's a balance that I haven't found yet. Especially like as a female founder, we have so many like male figures, so it's hard to like
And you can guess.
yeah. So yeah, I think it's hard to identify as other entrepreneur figures as a woman and to still feel like you are yourself.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah.
But you've opened a Pandora box in terms of female founders and how to how to be authentic as a female founder.
Yeah. I mean, I mean, honestly, that's a lot of back and forth. Like sometimes I'm really strong in being a female founders. Like I would meet some people and just act myself, and like even like if they challenge me on some female characteristic, I will just like, take them down. But like sometimes I just feel like this is not working, so I'm just going to change strategy and try to be again like, I don't know, more confident or like more bullish on what I say. And
Yeah.
that's I think I just go back and forth, and I still haven't found the right balance.
It is tricky, and when you're gonna find a formula, let me know, because
Yeah.
yeah, you kind of, you don't want to be like. I was recently observing the videos which I was recording with the co-founder, and what striking me was like, okay, I can be really bossy, and then like I was almost like surprised to the extent when just watching this on the video, and then I was like, yes, but at the same time, there are moments when I'm feeling insecure and I feel like a imposter. Like, what have I
Mm.
been doing? Um, and I'm not sure if the male founders have the same dilemmas.
I mean, I mean, I don't know them all personally, but I feel like they have the same dilemmas, but they probably keep them inside, like on the
Mhm.
surface, they will still act the same and not change so much their attitude, or yeah, they will just like internalize these doubts and keep doing the same. Well, I think we tend to over optimize always, and like adapt a lot.
Yeah.
um that's the difference, I would say.
So, the last question of the evening is an
Mm.
advice you would give to your younger self.
Yeah, I think an advice would be really to, well, go on this self-discovery journey, and really, like embrace the fact that I have my own personality that is not the same as everyone, and that's what is going to make me happy. Because I think like when I was young, I was building myself to like by copying others, or
Mm.
like in reaction against others. So it was either I was like someone or I was not like someone, but it was always like being a reaction to other people and not like looking first into myself. um and I think because I thought there was not so much inside myself to look into, so I think that would be my advice, to look more into myself than just like outside myself.
That's a beautiful advice. Beautiful advice. Thank you so much. It was such an amazing, amazing, amazing pleasure to talk to you. Uh, Hope you enjoyed it as well.
Yeah.
And perhaps one day we will actually meet in person.
Yeah, I hope either in Europe or San
And
Francisco, who knows.
so, who knows?
But I'm sure we will.
Claire, thank you so much. Have a lovely evening. And let's keep in touch.
Yeah, you too. Bye.
Bye.